We are living in crazy times. Government shutdown, and then some federal workers aren't going to be paid, and then this going on with the everyone's fighting. We got the I don't know people that want to identify as whatever they want to identify, fighting with people that aren't up for it, and then we got people that see one way about immigration and that see the other way about immigration. Like, I don't really know much of what's the details of what's actually going on, but I'm going to give you my opinion. I work a job that doesn't nearly make close to what a federal worker average makes. A federal worker makes about $106,000 a year. That's a significant amount of money. And I bet when they are hired, they knew there was a disclaimer or something that says there could be a possibility there's a shutdown and we need to hold on to these resources because, however that works. So on that fact, I really don't feel bad because I work a job where I deal with terrible people and horrible customers and some people that are amazing, like fantastic people. They come back and we have conversations, but the majority is pretty nasty people. And I'm just going to say, as an average, not just as America or a certain city or a certain location, in an average, I would say the human race is probably the worst thing that ever happened to the earth. I mean, in my opinion, I trust an animal that walks on four legs more than I do a human being, which is like, and the thing that tied it together for me is this is the one that's going to blow your mind. I did not know that the majority of horror movies that exist, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs, that movie Psycho, Norman Bates, all that stuff is based on one person, who is Ed Gein, who was the most vicious serial killer ever to exist in existence. The things that he did, the psychology that was going on. This is like a wake up. Like, you got to understand, because there's certain, there's a gray area when it comes out to a personality. Like, there's so many different factors. Like, I could almost compare it to like an evolution, over billions of years of a certain animal, evolving into something else. The human mind over a very short amount of time has evolved into a very, very sinister, cold, calculating machine. And we're all becoming more desensitized to things as imagery and violence and sex and all this stuff is readily available a click away. And that has to do a lot with us, the availability, the quickness of getting things. Like, snap, I want this from the internet, I want my groceries now, I want to fly here, I want to fly there, and gimme. And that type of self-absorbing selfishness, like, starts to seep out into other areas of people's lives where, so then I started to look into stuff like what were the Salem witch trials? What were they actually really about? And the fact of the matter, it was just people using the fear of a certain culture's beliefs to underhandedly seize properties and stuff. And then I went further to the point of like, doing research into like the Knights Templar, who, like, under, what was it, a certain king, I believe it was King George. I don't really remember very well. I read that this certain king was in super debt to the Knights Templar, and he decided to just call them heretics and burn them at the stake, like, just for the fact that he didn't want to pay them back. So I'm seeing like a very underlining theme here of just the human mind. And the human mind has this way of doing this like mental gymnastic where we distort our own perspective. It's like to readily justify our thought process and the means of our action. For example, we can go back towards like, during Hitler's times, like Hitler just was looking for a scapegoat. And I read something that the Jews were starting to get into like the media and, visual imagery, you know what I mean? Like visual imagery and typography and like, the advertising industry, it has a lot of power. It's very significant. There's a very great power in imagery and words. You can make a mind think a certain way. So, Adolf Hitler, he was a monster, but in fact, the matter, he was such a psychopath that he was most psychopaths are genius, like super smart. And he decided to use them as a scapegoat. Basically, he wanted to eradicate them because in his mind, you don't understand, this man, he was an artist, like he was a painter, he had an eclectic mind. But for some reason, he had this grudge about really his own people, technically. He wasn't even German. Hitler wasn't even German. You understand? And he led Germany to just execute and gas people. Like, if that doesn't say anything, then, I could just move on to some more examples. Like, let's talk about, religious foundations. What about them? Okay, like, for years, they've just, they've been working with the government secretly or just obviously in the past long ago, during like Roman Catholic times and, and this shows in many different kinds of, regions that the church always had an influence on the government. And now I'm going to make the great connection. The great connection is that a thought process or a mindset, our inner like ego, our inner, we will literally know there is something wrong, but because of our pride, we will continue to shake our heads in just complete blindness and just not look at these facts. And now, to bring it back to the churches, it's more underhanded now, you know what I mean? Like, the churches kind of underhand money, give donations to certain politicians that are on record. I know this happens because it's happened in medieval times, it's happened in the back, so it's got to be going on now. You know what I mean? It's not a possibility. It's not, because the human's mind in this subject has been very consistent. The cruelty, the manipulation, the just the sneakiness. Like, we are a sneaky creature. Like, I'd rather you call me a monkey than call me a human. Like, and that sounds crazy, right? Like, human. Like, call me a demon or call me a whatever to call you. Call me a demon. Sometimes calling me a human, just, I get offended. And not because I think I'm something special, is because I feel ashamed. Like, I feel ashamed to be part of a group of species and organism that just, whose own prey is themselves. Like, we're at the apex, like, consider like a lion, a tiger, an apex predator. They defend their territories and whatever. Yes, human beings, it's natural to be territorial, you have to protect your family, your home, what's yours is yours. What you've earned. I understand that. But to go to the next level and to isolate a certain group or pick on certain characteristics of somebody or a certain race or a certain gender or a certain age or a certain whatever, yeah, it's cool. We can make jokes, that's cool. And maybe you really think like that. But, they say sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. That's completely true. I'm talking about the actual physical acts. And I don't just mean physical, like bodily. I mean physical acts that have, like, taken homes away from people, destroyed families, have caused wars, famines, everything, man. And I'm going to wrap this one up and say, you got the Republicans fighting with Democrats. You got the straight people. You know what I'm talking about, like the people that are straight that are like, no, it's either man or woman, fighting against the non-binaries, or, the people that don't. I don't really know how that works either. The identify as this or whatever. Like, I really don't care, because you do whatever you want, and I'm going to do whatever I want. But the thing is when you step over the line onto my stuff, then I'm going to have an issue with you. Just don't complicate my life with your stuff. Just do your stuff. And it can be around me. I don't care that you're around me. And this is in general aspect with everything. I mean, all you human beings, including myself. Humans as a general. For me, bro, you can do whatever you want. Just make sure it doesn't have an impact on my life, like a direct impact. You know what I mean? Like, politicians are going to do whatever politicians are going to do. And maybe this whole video is just completely pointless. It's just me ranting on about how much fucking the Homo sapien just sucks. Like, bro, us, the Homo sapien is we're doomed. We're in ruin, and not, bro. The mind, like, we are advanced so much in technology, but as far as we gone forward with tech and like advancements to like better our living situation or convenience, the further that our minds have gone further and deeper into the abyss, to the point like we're so far out there. I don't even think or can even fathom in my mind that like we would have a world where everyone was just at peace. Like, I don't see this. I can't see this, and not because I don't want it. It's because I don't see it, because our past is just so saturated, understand? It's like saturated and potent that there's really no turning back. At least for me, what I know and what I've seen so far, and, about halfway through my life, I don't think you're going to be able to change my mind that, the majority of us are just terrible. I would say out there, maybe there's like, I don't know, 3%, like people that go on missions, truly for missions, just to actually help a human life. People that go to soup kitchens just truly to help homeless people. People that do therapy to truly hurt a person and not just profit. Doctors that truly took that job because in their heart at a very young age, they just wanted to help people. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the motive of the human mind these days. The motivation of the human mind. This is the end of my thesis, is that the motivation of the human mind has lost its rich and beautiful luster. The human mind, it's a one track. Sorry, guys. I'm disappointed generally in us as a whole. That's it.